What is going on, everyone? It's your guy, Cole Jackson, back here on Road Graders. And you probably couldn't hear me because I didn't have my microphone. We're not locked in. Hopefully the Baltimore Ravens aren't going into this week with my approach. We are going to be talking about what I think is the most critical piece to winning this game. It is going to be the Baltimore Ravens offensive line against this pass rush of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you guys are getting ready for wildcard weekend, if you're getting fired up, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think the biggest matchup is in this game. Now, going and taking a look at some of the film from week 18, I thought was pretty interesting because both, the Ravens Steelers playing for Ravens playing for obviously the AFC North, even though it was against a lowly Cleveland Browns team, and the Steelers still playing for something. So I think you got a really good snapshot. So we're going to look at the film from week 18. We're going to look at both the Steelers game. And another reason I want to look at this Steelers team is because that edge group is finally healthy. You finally have all of them together. And this is not the group that the Ravens saw a few weeks ago. TJ Watt looks fully healthy. Alex Highsmith fully back. He only played 11 games this year. They finally have Preston Smith fully integrated into this team, and you're going to kind of see from some of the alignments. So we are going to take a look at what I think are the three most critical things this offensive line needs to be ready for. If you go back through the Baltimore Ravens playoff history with Lamar Jackson, all the focus has been on Lamar. We all know that. But every playoff loss has coincided with poor offensive line play, and I don't think it's going to be any different. The Baltimore Ravens need to do two things to be successful on Saturday night. They need to protect the football, clear as day, and they need to win in the trenches, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at. This video is brought to you on the Russell Street Report, courtesy of DNL Tinting. Again, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here. Let's get into the film. So one of the key things that I want to start with, and we have seen this throughout the season with the Ravens, is they need to be able to manage the four-man rush. It has been one of the key weaknesses of this offense. Whenever teams have been able to slow them down, it has been because they've been able to have a successful four-man rush. The first Cleveland Browns game, the Philadelphia Eagles game, probably the two that stand out the most. The loss to the Steelers in the first matchup, those three games coincided with strong four-man rushes. So it was no different against the Browns, even though this game was never really that close, but they were still able to have some success with the four-man rush. Now, obviously, in these clips, you'll have some Ben Cleveland snaps. You'll have some Andrew Voorhees snaps. We'll have Patrick McCary most likely starting. I'd probably still roll with Voorhees. I know that's a little controversial, but nonetheless, full context. Let's get into it here. You're going to see just four coming, and, the impact of Myles Garrett there. And this is what Lamar Jackson is able to do. Obviously, not many quarterbacks can scramble and, be able to get out of this. But you're going to see the impact here on the right side of the line. So 51 is going to just make Cleveland whiff. Myles Garrett's going to cut inside, and it almost looked like a stunt, but you can see right here, it's basically just 51, which is Michael Hall, just getting around, and then Myles Garrett trying to close. Lamar is able to escape. So again, four-man rush, huge impact on this play. Keep rolling into the next one, and this is something that I think you'll see. I don't think you'll see the specific alignment, but you will see probably a one tech. In this case, there's a three tech to the right of Daniel Falele in the B gap there between Falele and Rosengarten. Then you have two wide. So you got a 6, and then you also have a 9. And so that's three wide players. And what they're trying to do is, and they got Myles Garrett on the other side, so they're distracting Ronnie Stanley. So they're trying to make you slide 4 to block 3, and that's exactly what's going to happen right off the snap here. So they're going to slide their whole O-line, and really what they want to do here is try and get Daniel Falele out in space. So you're going to see Rosengarten drop deep, and there's actually going to be an edge player coming off the end here. So it ends up being a four-man rush, but it's all four coming from the right side of the line. And so Falele needs to kick down harder. Linderbaum needs to kick down harder to be able to pick that up. So it is sort of a blitz, but it's a four-man rush nonetheless. But really what they're intending to do on this play is get Daniel Falele in space, in my opinion, because that's exactly where they attack, and Falele is not able to manage that. And that's going to be important because you see an alignment. Now, this is obviously in an obvious pass down situation. the Steelers are sending 4 against an empty backfield. But one of the interesting things, and I'll just pause, Preston Smith, number 91, edge player, is aligned here as, sort of a 4-tech over top of the tackle. So you get a 4-tech to go with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. You get to add him into the mix, and then the other player over there is Larry Ogunjobi as a 3-tech. So this is what they're able to do with some of their personnel, because they're 4 deep. They have 4 solid edge rushes. I know Preston Smith hasn't been that impressive. He has 7 pressures in 8 games. Like, that's not anything to blow your skirt up, but he's still a veteran player. He'll be able to make some plays. That's not counting Nick Herbig, who's finally back. And that combination of Watt, Highsmith, and Herbig is really what you should be worried about. They're using Preston Smith in this, but just to show what a vet impact he can make. But they're able to get pressure with 4 off this. They're able to create one-on-ones. They got the right tackle, which was Cody Ford, getting out there against TJ Watt. Not a great matchup for them. Then they got Orlando Brown Jr., and they're able to create a one-on-one there between the left guard and Preston Smith. And you can see Preston Smith is able to get in there for his sack. That's his only sack with the Steelers, if I remember correctly. But you can also see how TJ Watt can bend that edge. And we've looked at this a number of times. This is how TJ Watt wins. He's going to work upfield, and then he's going to drop that inside arm. You can see right there, and he's going to rip. So he's going to dip that right arm and then rip up with his hand to break the hands of the tackle and bend the edge. Look at that right there. That's a TJ Watt special. That's what he does so well. That's what Roger Rosengarten in their last matchup did a really good job of combating, is that dip and rip that you get from TJ Watt. Then you get into a completely different alignment here. So you got Alex Highsmith wide. You got TJ Watt wide. They're going to go with the 4-man rush here. But now you got different personnel. You got Cam Hayward in as a 1-tech, a guy that you can't single block. You have to give attention to Cam Hayward. And then they're going to take their nose, Keanu Benton, and align him out as a 4-tech over top of the tackle. So they're going to do some of the creativity we see from the Ravens when they're, lining Michael Pierce up wide or Travis Jones. And so they're going to show a similar look. So again, this is a similar look. When I said they probably wouldn't move as wide as the Cleveland Browns did, but this is an alignment I could expect to see against the Ravens right side, because they want to force Daniel Falele, just like they're going to get their right guard kicking out into space like that right there. So you force the double team inside against Cam Hayward. Obviously, you have to deal with TJ Watt. Again, you can see him right there. He's about to dip and rip. Look, dip, rip. Every time. Same move. He's done it his whole career. He does it all the time because no one can stop it. Absolutely unbelievable. And then it creates that one-on-one matchup between Keanu Benton and that right guard. And you can see right there, Keanu Benton is able to knock that right guard back and create that space right there and then eliminate the pocket. Burrow able to get the ball out, but you see how quickly that pressure comes. Now we get into a different alignment. Now we got Preston Smith and Nick Herbig. So we're into our second, our third and fourth, our second stringers, I guess we'll call them, edge rushers. We got Cam Hayward inside at his traditional 3-tech on the right side of your screen, and then in at the 1-tech to the left of the center, that's Montavious Adams. So they're just another look that the Ravens are going to have to be thinking about. And you're going to see right here, Cam Hayward's going to get that one-on-one. They're going to use their 1-tech to get a double team from the center and the right guard of the Bengals. That creates this one-on-one between the left guard and Cam Hayward. And this is what happens when you single block Cam Hayward. He's just going to knock you back on your ass. And then Nick Herbig is able to get home on that for a sack. So this is the type of concern that you have when you have a Steelers defensive front that's able to give you so many looks, and they have so many impact players. Really hard to account for everybody, and it means that you need key guys making key one-on-one blocks. Get into another alignment here. You got Keanu Benton back here in that 4-tech beside TJ Watt. I think that's Adams or Ogunjobi in on the other interior, and then Alex Highsmith out wide. And again, just 4-man rush. This time, Keanu Benton's going to collapse and then get that sack. That was Keanu Benton's 3rd sack of the year, but he's put together 23 pressures. So if you look at it, Cam Hayward, 56 pressures, 10 sacks. TJ Watt, 53 pressures, 12 sacks. Alex Highsmith in just 11 games, 48 pressures, 6 sacks. Nick Herbig in 13 games, 26 pressures, 7 sacks. Keanu Benton, 23 pressures, 3 sacks. Larry Ogunjobi, 14 pressures. Patrick Queen, 13. So, they are able to show so many different looks, and that's what the Ravens need to be prepared for. Then you get into the twist game, and this has been something that the Ravens have struggled with. They struggled early in the season because they had 2 new guards. Then they, worked McCary in, so they kind of had 3 starting guards in the first few seasons, it being Daniel Falele's first starts at right guard. Obviously, Andrew Voorhees being, the redshirt freshman, and then McCary playing left guard for the first time in a while. So a lot of communication errors, and, you're still seeing some of them. So you're going to see them get attacked here with a little bit of that. This is going to happen right up here. 92 is going to come down and set a pick on Linderbaum, and the one tech in between Daniel Falele and Tyler Linderbaum is going to wrap. So you're going to see him 92 cuts down, and then up comes that pressure from Michael Hall. Lamar able to do Lamar things, throw a jump pass. Ridiculous what he's able to do. You get a little bit of, I don't know if this was, I thought this was supposed to be, I'm not sure if this is just how good Myles Garrett is or if this was a pick. So you see right there, Myles Garrett cuts Ronnie Stanley across the face, and then Michael Hall wraps around. I don't know if that was just Myles Garrett being so explosive, attacking the inside hand of Stanley, but it looked like a stunt. And then it makes Lamar roll out, but once again, able to get the ball out at least. But, again, Ravens struggling on that inside pick move, which has plagued them all year. Then you're going to get another one right here. You're going to get where does he start pre-snap? So the one tech in between Linderbaum and Falele, he's going to cross Tyler Linderbaum's face, and then the 4 tech out across from Ronnie Stanley is going to come inside right there and bring that pressure up. And then Lamar actually had Rashad Bateman deep on this play and wasn't able to get the ball out because of that pressure coming up in his face. Steelers, no different. Again, with some of the explosive athletes they have up front, they're able to get very creative in what they do in the twist game. Tons of line games that they're going to use. So this one's obviously going to be Montavious Adams stepping up. So on the right side of your screen, the one tech here is going to come down and set a pick on Orlando Brown Jr. for Alex Highsmith. He's going to wrap in right there, pick on him. You get 67 in a position you never want to see your offensive lineman, and that's facing the same direction, or facing the quarterback with his back to the defensive line. You see Highsmith come around, Burrow able to get the ball out. Now we're down in the red zone. They're going to do the same type of thing. You see TJ Watt again. You're going to get, is that Ogunjobi? So across from 65, across from the right guard, you have a 2 tech. He's going to work up field at the outside shoulder right there. And then TJ Watt's able to come inside. Ball comes out really quick, so it doesn't matter. But again, the pick game going to be important, especially I didn't grab any clips from this game, but what they can do with Patrick Queen in it. We saw it all year last year. Steelers do it too, where they're able to use him and be explosive. Then we got to worry about the blitz, because as much as they can get home with a 4-man rush, they can mix it up. And they've used Landon Roberts, their Mike linebacker, and Patrick Queen, their Will linebacker. Again, Patrick Queen has 13 pressures and a sack. Landon Roberts has 12 pressures and a sack. So not, a ton of volume, but they're effective when they use them. The Ravens struggled a little bit against the blitz here. See Grant Delpit get a free run. You remember I just said you never want your one of your offensive linemen looking back at your quarterback. Look where Ben Cleveland's looking right now. So this is what they're able to do. They stack that right side of their line. They actually pair it with a twist. Michael Hall cuts inside. You're going to get the edge player against Ben Cleveland. He's going to wrap around, and then Grant Delpit runs free because of that pick on Ronnie Stanley. He's not able to get the outside man, and he absolutely smokes Lamar, which you never want to see. So one of those things that they're going to have to be able to sort out, some of these blitzes. And again, the Steelers do it a ton. So you see them here. They got the 0 tech across from 64. The camera's in the way. Then you got a 4 tech across from Orlando Brown Jr., a wide 9 in Alex Highsmith, and a wide 9 in TJ Watt. And then you see Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson creeping up, and everybody comes. And so you see them. What happens with the Bengals O-line is as they step up, 34 and 65 both take Peyton Wilson. That makes Patrick Queen the free rusher. They had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-man rush against a 6-man pressure. If they sort out their protection, everybody should be blocked. But you get 2 guys committed to Peyton Wilson, nobody committed to Patrick Queen, and Queen's going to step up and absolutely smoke Burrow, get that ball out. And that's the exact type of play that cannot happen in this game. Their protections need to be clean. They need to be able to ID blitzes before the snap and be prepared for that pressure to come from the second level. Again, we're going to see a Landon Roberts step up here in the A gap. And that's what he does. He's a big Mike. He's a throwback Mike. They'll just stick him in that A gap. So now you got both A gaps mugged. You got the B gap here, and then you got two wide edges. And the Steelers are always going to use those wide edges. So they're just stressing the interior. But then they bring Patrick Queen on a delay. And again, running back has to step up. Queen gets into Burrow, another hit on the quarterback. So Queen making an impact in this game, and I expect them to use him as a weapon in this one, just like Mike McDonald did last year. Here, delayed blitz again. You got Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen hanging back. You just got a 4-man line. Again, we got that 0 tech over top of the center. Then we have a stand-up 5 tech, 2 wide 9s from Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt. But then they bring both linebackers, and it creates they kept in extra. I keep saying we as if I'm the Bengals. I'm sure as shit not the Bengals. But they got to keep in extras here with their tight ends. So they keep in Tanner Hudson and forget 89 Drew Sample. I don't even know. Burrow able to just kind of get that ball out late. But you see the mess it creates. So those are the 3 things that I think this offensive line needs to be prepared for. I think this is the most critical matchup in this game that will dictate success for the Baltimore Ravens. The 4-man rush, the way they manage stunts and line games, and the way they handle the blitz. I mean, it's usually the most 3 critical things you're going to face with any offensive line versus pass rush. So not that that's some unique thing, but that is the key group. I think if anybody's going to make an impact on this game in the Steelers' favor, it's going to be the defensive front of the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. That to me is the biggest mismatch that the Ravens need to mitigate, whether that be through using Patrick Ricard and some max protections, whether that's the quick passing game. And obviously one of the key things that, I haven't gotten into, but one of the key mitigators is a strong running game. If they can specifically, and I've talked about this a lot in my run game videos, an option run game, if you can do that, because the way you pair your option run game with play action is it's going to freeze those edge rushers. So when they get those wide edges, they're going to be less hesitant to rush up unless it's, 3rd and long, because they're going to want to read. And they're going to want to read Lamar Jackson specifically. You don't have that same type of consideration with Joe Burrow. So that to me is one of the key mitigators. I'd like to see that effective run game. I'd like to see the option run game, even though I don't like seeing Lamar Jackson take a ton of contact. It's the playoffs. Every game is do or die. I think they need to be able to integrate that into their game plan because of how that's going to affect their edge players and their defensive line in general. But overall, we need Ronnie Stanley. We need Patrick McCary. We need Tyler Linderbaum. We need Daniel Falele, and we need Roger Rosengarten to have their best game of the year. So that's it for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the most critical matchup in this game. As always, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.